I raised my stepdaughter for 18 years. At her wedding, she thanked her deadbeat dad instead of me. My wife was upset but stayed silent. A few days later, my stepdaughter asked me to pay the wedding bills. So I told her to ask her real dad and took the car back. Hello, Reddit I+ here. I met Lisa when her daughter Emily was just 3. Lisa was recently divorced, raising Emily on her own after her ex-husband, Mark, left them both behind with no more than a few promises he never kept. From the beginning, I loved Emily like she was my own. When Lisa and I married a year later, I didn't hesitate to adopt the role of a father. I took her to kindergarten, taught her how to ride a bike, stayed up helping with science projects, dried her tears after heartbreaks, and later helped her apply to colleges. Every milestone, I was there. Mark, on the other hand, showed up maybe once a year. Birthday calls that came a day late or promises of visits that never happened. But Emily idolized him anyway. Dad's just going through something right now, she'd say as a teenager, defending him after he ghosted her again. I never contradicted her. I figured one day she'd grow up and see the truth. I funded her private high school, helped with tuition at her out-of-state university, and bought her car. Lisa and I weren't rich, but we made it work. And when she got engaged last year, we offered to cover most of the wedding costs. Venue, catering, flowers, photographer, even part of her dress. I was honored when she asked me to walk her down the aisle. She said it was always going to be me. But on the big day, something shifted. Everything went off beautifully. Lisa cried watching her daughter walk in white. I held it together until the reception. That's when Emily stood up to give her thank you speech. She cleared her throat, eyes bright. I want to thank my dad, Mark, she said. He's the reason I am who I am. His strength and belief in me gave me the courage to chase my dreams. The room fell quiet. I waited, assuming she'd turn toward our table next, but she didn't. She thanked her mom, her bridesmaids, even the event planner. My name wasn't mentioned, not once. Lisa reached for my hand under the table. Her eyes brimmed with guilt and confusion, but she said nothing. I kept a smile on my face for the rest of the night, shaking hands, posing for photos, even toasting her marriage. But inside, something had cracked. 3 days later, Emily called. She sounded chipper, like nothing had happened. Hey, just wanted to talk about the final payments for the wedding, cake delivery, music license, the half of the photographer's fee. They're sending everything to you. I was silent for a moment. Then I said, you should forward those to your real dad, the one who gave you courage and strength. Let him handle it. She paused. Wait, what? You made it clear who you see is your father, Emily. So let him pay the bills. That's not fair, she said, her voice suddenly small. No, I replied, voice calm. What's not fair is erasing 18 years of sacrifices, love, and commitment because you wanted a fantasy version of your absentee father to play hero at your wedding. She hung up. Later that day, I called the dealership. The car was still in my name. I had it picked up from her apartment without a word. Lisa confronted me, not angrily, but with a quiet sadness. You could have talked to me. Would you have defended me? Would you have told her the truth? She didn't answer. That told me everything. A week passed. Then Lisa sat me down with something in her hands, a letter. She said Emily had written it in high school, something she'd found in an old drawer. In it, Emily had thanked me for everything. She called me dad throughout, said I was her hero, that she knew Mark was a mess, but she wanted to believe he could be better, that she was sorry if that ever hurt me. I read it 3 times. Lisa said she's confused, she still loves you, but I realized something important. That letter was from a girl who still saw things clearly. The woman who gave that speech, who thanked a man who never showed up, was not the same person. She had rewritten her story. And in doing so, erased me. I haven't spoken to Emily since. I don't hate her. I'm not even angry anymore. But I won't bankroll my own erasure. Sometimes the deepest betrayal isn't a lie. It's being left out of the truth. The silence in our home after that day was like fog, thick, unmoving, and impossible to ignore. Lisa moved carefully around me as if she wasn't sure which version of me she'd find. I wasn't shouting or angry. I was just done. And she knew it. For the time in nearly 2 decades I didn't have the energy to fix anything. I had built something out of love, brick by brick, and watched it crumble in a single moment at a reception hall. One night, Lisa tried to reach out. She was overwhelmed. She said softly, maybe it wasn't personal. Weddings. They're emotional. People forget things in the moment. I looked at her tired. She didn't forget. Lisa went quiet. I continued. You and I both know she planned that speech. Wrote it down, practiced it. She made a choice. Lisa didn't defend Emily this time, but she didn't defend me either. And that, more than anything, told me how alone I was in this. A few days later, I received a text from Mark. Yes, Mark, the man who missed birthdays, ducked out on child support, and made a career out of pretending to care just enough. Hey man, not sure what's going on, but Emily said you're upset. Don't make this about money. It was her wedding day. That was the moment the dam truly broke. I typed slowly, deliberately. I paid for her school, her braces, her therapy, after you missed her high school graduation. I gave her a stable home. You gave her an occasional text and some badly wrapped Christmas presents. You don't get to lecture me about what this is about. He didn't reply. Of course, he didn't. In the weeks that followed, Emily tried a few times to reconnect. Soft attempts, like liking an old photo of me on social media or tagging me in a throwback. No apology, no acknowledgement, just gestures. And I realized she wasn't ready to take responsibility. Not for the speech, not for using me as a bank and then pushing me aside. Lisa was grieving too in her own way. She'd lost something as well. Maybe not a daughter, but a version of herself who believed this family was unbreakable. Then one Saturday morning, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, postmarked from another state, no return name. It was from Emily. In it, she wrote, I don't know how to explain what I did. I think I wanted my dad to feel like he mattered. Just once, I didn't realize I was erasing you to do that. I thought you'd understand. I thought you'd always understand, no matter what. But I see now, that was selfish. I was trying to make a broken man whole. And in the process, I broke the one man who never let me down. I don't deserve forgiveness yet, but I do owe you truth. You were my dad every single day. I just didn't know how to say goodbye to the fantasy of the men who made me. So I betrayed the men who raised me. I see it now. I'm sorry, and I love you. Whether you answer or not, I needed you to know. I read it twice, then folded it and set it down. Later that night, Lisa asked if I was okay. I told her about the letter. She's still your daughter, she said. I shook my head. Maybe. But I'm not sure I can be her father anymore. Not until she stops expecting love without accountability. There was no drama. No shouting. Just truth. A heavy, bitter truth we both had to swallow. It's been 6 months now. Emily and I haven't spoken again. She hasn't asked for anything. I've seen pictures. She and her husband look happy. Maybe that's enough for her. Maybe in some part of her heart, she still thinks I'll be there when she's ready, and maybe I will be, but not today. Because love, real love, isn't unconditional. It lives and breathes through mutual respect. And I've learned that being a father doesn't just mean showing up. It also means knowing when to walk away, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Lisa was the one who brought it up. I think we should talk to someone, she said one night over dinner, her fork idle on her plate. Not just about Emily, about us. I hesitated. Not because I didn't want to go, but because I wasn't sure there was anything left to fix. Still, I agreed. We found a quiet middle-aged therapist named Dana. She didn't ask us to rehash everything in the session. She just listened. I feel like I've spent the last 18 years building something I was never really part of, I told her in our session. Like I loved a family that was always halfway looking past me. Lisa looked down, her eyes full. I thought loving you was enough. I didn't realize how much I let you carry alone. There was silence. Then Dana asked, do you want to stay in this marriage? We both nodded. Not quickly, but we did. It wasn't a magic fix. There were more quiet nights, more hard conversations, but therapy gave us a space to be raw without being cruel. We're not healed yet, but we're facing the truth together. And maybe that's a start. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel.